The quest for the perfect tree is a rite of the holiday season. Ever since the late 19th century, people have been trying to come up with an artificial version. First, there were feather trees, and later, trees made of animal bristles. But by the 1960s, the use of synthetics finally gave us the perfect fake fir. Today's faux firs can be several stories tall, big enough for your town square. You can get them with many of the trimmings, so decorating isn't such a stretch. These big artificial trees start with a steel skeleton. Rollers bend steel tubing into arcs. They'll be joined to form the base of the framework. Workers weld vertical supports to the arcs, building the structure in sections. A spray of polyester powder gives the welded metal a smooth finish that's actually tougher than paint. They bake the parts to set the coating. After a quick cooling, it's time to assemble all the pieces. They fasten the structure together with U-bolts and a ratchet. Meanwhile, a roll of green PVC plastic winds its way towards a roller equipped with many circular cutters. They slice it into 10-centimeter wide strips. Each of the narrow plastic strips then goes under a roller with even more blades. They shred it into a needle-like configuration, leaving a solid spine at the center to hold the simulated needles together. An automated spool then winds up the fringed green PVC. These artificial needles come in an assortment of colors, so if you want glitz, you can really go out on a limb. Here, streams of the fringed green and a strip of brown PVC travel over tension control guides. Steel wire unwinds and merges with the green and brown PVC. This machine twists them together. The brown strip lands at the core of the twisted fringe, creating the illusion of a stem among the needles. This twisting technology churns out a continuous supply of artificial greenery. Giant scissors slice it to the correct length. To make branches that appear snow-tipped, this machine twists and then frosts the PVC needles with a spray of white latex paint. They use this ring fastener to crimp the artificial foliage together, branch by branch. This creates a tightly knit mass of greenery that will be used to cover the tree's framework. They apply single garlands on key parts of the tree grid first, using a handheld pneumatic fastener. They fill in the sections between them with the assembled branches. This is easier than attaching them to the framework branch by branch. They string the lights and then plug them in to check each bulb. After all, it's easier to change one now than after the tree has been erected, especially since this one will be a story and a half tall. They also wire the ornaments to the branches. It's one less job for the customer to do. And now, it's time to put up the tree. They bolt the cone of wired greenery to the lower framework, and then hook the panels of artificial greenery onto the rest of the structure. It has taken just one day for this artificial tree to come together, where growing a real one this size would take many years. And the convenience is unreal. hard to beat the glitter and glow of glass Christmas ornaments. For many people, the Christmas tree just wouldn't be the same without them. They were invented in the 19th century by a German glassmaker who decided to improvise because he couldn't afford to decorate his tree with the usual nuts and candy. They're Christmas eye candy. Today's glass ornaments are a visual treat. To make some of the ornaments, they start with a sketch and make a plaster model of it. They use it to create a two-part metal mold. They take a glass cylinder and fire its wider end so it softens. The glassmaker blows into the pipe end to stretch the supple glass into the basic shape of a bauble ornament. Other glass tubes are more bulbous at the center, and that's the section that's fired, as the glassmaker blows it into a more elongated bubble. He places that bubble in the mold and blows extra hard. The glass expands into its crevices and takes its shape, a snowman. He burns off one of the blowpipe ends, and then aims the torch at the snowman's nose to pull it out. A quick cool down could shatter this ornament, so he gradually lowers its temperature with a less intense flame. Blowing and molding glass figurines is quick work. The glassmaker has just a few seconds to complete the job before the glass becomes too cool and stiff to shape. The ornaments now head down the line to get some shine. The glassmaker pours silvering solution into the baubles through the stem. She then dips the bauble in warm water. This activates the silvering chemicals, and shaking the ornament accelerates this process. She swirls the silvering liquid around to completely coat the inside of the ornament. A final dip gives this bauble a mirror finish from the inside out. She empties the silvering solution into another tank for recycling. They also use this technique on the figurines, like the snowman. A quick shake gives this guy an inner beauty. Next, they submerge the glass ornament in lacquer to give it some color. The mirror finish inside shines through the lacquer. Now the snowman ornament gets an artist's touch. She airbrushes white lacquer onto the figurine for a frosty finish. It makes the snowman look more like Old Frosty. The artist paints some of the details by hand, like the trim on the hat and robe of the Santa ornament. This gives it a more visual depth. Once the paint dries, she brushes glue onto sections where she wants glitter dust to stick. The glue dries quickly, so the artist applies more. When it comes to Christmas sparkle, you just can't get enough. Next, she makes an incision in the stem and snaps it off. A metal cap fits on the ornament's stub. Time to pack up these fragile beauties very carefully. They put them in boxes that cradle each one individually to ensure they arrive safely. Now these glass ornaments are ready to go out on a limb to add beauty to the holidays.